Hello soulmates, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time being here, thank you for stopping by and thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'll be showing you how to make this maxi skirt using your freehand. Now here I have a piece of fabric, and this fabric is going to be the upper part of the skirt. Now what you want to do is that you're going to divide your biggest part of your measurement by 4. In that case, the biggest part of my measurement is my hip. My hip is around 46 inches. So what I did, I divided it by 4 and added about 2 more inches to it for allowances. So you would want to get started by drawing a straight line on your fabric, and this will represent your waistline. So now you're going to determine your hip line. In this case, my hip is around 8 inches, and this is not going to have a band on it, so I won't have to deduct the band height from my measurement. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw that, make that into a straight line. Now you're going to determine the length of the upper part. Now what you need to do, you need to go at least 2 inches above your knee, because you will not be able to walk if you do not put it 2 inches above your knee. So what I'm going to do at this point from my waistline, I'm going to take it down to where I want that skirt to stop, which is about 20 inches, and I'm gonna make it 21 inches. That's okay for me, and that includes the seam allowance, 21 inches, and I'm gonna bring that straight across. Now this you can use a pattern for. Personally, I think it will save you a lot of time when you make a pattern, but I'm just gonna show you that you can also get it using the freehand method. So what I'm going to do, at my waist, I'm going to put a quarter of my waist measurement, which is 9.25 inches. Okay, and I'm gonna add 1 inch for dart, and then I'm gonna add 1 inch for side seam allowance. Okay, so let me do that again. So my quarter of my waist is 9.25. That's right here. Okay, then I added 1 inch for my dart, because it's gonna have a dart, and 1 inch for side seam allowance. At my hip, I'm going to make it 11.5 inches plus 1 inch for side seam allowance. Now I'm gonna put the same thing down at the bottom, but I'm going to not cut it off as yet, because I need this to cut the back, and there are some alterations that I want to show you in order for you to understand how to do this. So this is 11.5, 12.5. I'm gonna put the same thing here. And I'm going to connect all these lines. Now, as I said, I'm not gonna leave it like this, but I'm gonna show you as the video proceeds what I'm going to do. Okay, because I will have to do that in order to do it on my fabric. Okay, also I'm gonna add up here 1/2 inch for joining seam allowance when I'm turning this part. So that's what I'm doing now, and I'm just gonna add that here before I do that. Now I'm just going to cut this out as it is. I'm not gonna add my dart as yet, but I'm just gonna use this to cut the back of the skirt. So this is the back of the skirt, and because this is going to have a zipper, I'm going to go in from this part 1 inch So I'm gonna go in 1 inch from the hem for my zipper allowance. So this is my straight line. Now I'm going to put this on, not from the line now, from the zipper allowance. We're going to place it here, like this. So you notice I started away from my zipper allowance right here, right? So this is my zip. All of this is my zip. So you're gonna start away from that, and I'm just going to cut it out, except before I forget, at the waist area right here, I want you to go over on, I'm talking now on the back, not on the front. You're gonna go over 1/2 an inch or 3/4 of an inch right here, and you're going to connect it back to the waistline right there. So that's one alteration that I'm going to make. Okay, so that's it. Why did I do that? Because I'm going to cut out at this area, at the waist area right here. I'm going to take out back that 3/4 of an inch that I place here. Okay, because I want this part to have a shape, a nice butt shape at the back. So that's why I did that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this out. So this is what you're gonna have. I'm gonna shape the size. Now look at how I'm cutting this now. I'm cutting that 1/2 an inch in there. Okay. And let me cut off the seam allowance that's here, the 1/2 an inch. Okay. So now what you're going to do at this point, let's deal with this part first. Remember, we went in 1/4 an inch. We have to take it back away from this part right here. So I'm gonna take away 1/4 an inch here. Three-quarters of an inch rather. And I'm gonna lance it back to the butt area right there. I'm gonna lance it back to the butt area right here. Okay, and also let me go to the front. Before I cut that off, I'm gonna go to this part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to deduct some inches from this part. So I'm gonna go in, you could go in 1 inch, you could go 1.5 inches. I'm gonna go in 1.5 inches, and I'm going to connect that 1.5 inch. This is the front now, to the 1 inch or so below the hip line, like this. Okay, and remember your seam allowance of 1 inch. That's right here. So I'm gonna connect it back right to that point. Okay, so this is gonna be cut off now. So we've successfully taken away 1.5 inch from the hem of this dress. Okay, so that's for the front. Now for your dart at the front, you could do your bust span measurement. So mine is 4.25. I'm gonna add my dart right here. I'm gonna put that also at the hem, but it will not go in the hem. Okay, I'm gonna draw my dart right here. And then I'm going to take 1/2 an inch on both sides. I'm gonna come up from the front 2 inches, and I'm gonna draw this line right here. Okay, here I'm gonna go make it a little bit straight. I hope you understand what I'm doing. I'm gonna make it straight like that. So that's my dart. Okay, I'm just gonna notch it so that I know where it starts on the other side. Okay, and I'm gonna mark it here to know where it stops. You could use a pin for this, so we know that that's where we stop on the other side. And we can also go ahead and mark the dart using the notch that you made. So all you do is draw it back like this. Rather, it's right there. Like that. So that's your dart. Now you're still gonna alter this measurement by coming down 1.5 inch or 1 inch and lance it back like this at the front. This will help with the folding. Okay. Okay, since I came down, I'm gonna go back up just to give it. I hope you understand. This is why I don't like working with the chalk, because that's that. Now for this one, remember we took 1.5 inch from this measurement, right? From the lower part. Now, now you're going to divide it up. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna take 1 inch from this side, okay? And I'm gonna take 1/2 inch from this side, okay? And then I'm going to, so I took 1/2 inch from the zipper area, and I took 1 inch from the other, from the side. So this is what I'm doing. Okay, there you go. And then I'm gonna connect this back to this side. So now you can cut this out. Remember, we haven't put the darts yet. So I'm cutting this out. And I'm cutting the back out. There you go. So if you could double check, you'll see that these two at the bottom are the same size. Okay? They're gonna be the same size. Remember, we have zipper allowance at the back, so that would be out. This 1 inch would be out for the zipper. Let me just notch that. And if I could check here, you see that they are the same, right? So we know that we are on track. This, what I did was just to make the butt area very obvious. So that's just why I subtracted all of that. So at the top here, remember this is a zipper allowance, so let me just mark that zipper allowance here. 1 inch. So it starts there. And we also have 1 inch over here for zipper allowance also. So here from this point to that point, it should give us 10.5 inches. Okay, 10.25 rather. There it is, 10.25, because of the 1 inch dart allowance. So now I'm going to maybe divide that into 2. You could do that, or you do your bust band. Let me do my bust band. I'll just do my bust band, 4.25. And I'm going to come down. This is the hip line. See? I marked it. That's the hip line. I'm gonna come down with a straight line. This allows me to do that. To my hip line. From my hip line, I'm gonna go up just 1 inch or 1.5 inch. Then I'm gonna do my dart. Connect it right here. Okay, so that's my dart. I'm gonna mark it at the back. But when I'm sewing, I know that's where I stop. And then I'm going to notch it. At the back, I won't go down. So for the band, or the thing that you're gonna put it to, put on it to finish the hem, what you're going to do, you're going to fold in your dart like this. Fold in your dart like this. Let me get, so I'm gonna pin in my darts like this. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Remember, we didn't cut out the front as yet, so something you have to do also. And what you're going to do, you're going to make the outline for the skirt band. So I want my band to be about 2.5 inches, not too much down. I have to make it so wide. This is back. I'm gonna put interfacing on this. Now for the front, let me cut out the front. Remember, we have to cut out the front. Now I'm gonna fold this. It's not gonna match exactly, but you're gonna trace your band also, but this one is gonna be unfold. See, this one is gonna be unfold. You're gonna trace your band. Don't have to make it so wide. I'm going to adjust it later on to the size that I want. Okay? See how wide this is. 4.5. It's too wide, but it's fine. I'll adjust as I go. I'm gonna cut this out. This is the front, so this goes with this one. All right, so now that we've had the upper part, and if you want to line it, then you go ahead and add your lining just the same. So what you're going to do to get the lower part, you're first going to find out how much So let me use the front because it's easier. How much this part is. You're going to determine, do I want to join at the side or do I want to make one long piece? It's up to you. So what you're going to do, you're going to find the measurement of this part. So since I'm going to join at the side, that's about 11.25. You're going to multiply it by 4. That's about 11.25 times 4. It's 45. Now you're going to either multiply by 2 or you multiply by 3. It depends on how much volume you want at the bottom. So I'm going to multiply by 2.5. So that means I'm supposed to have 100. All right, guys. So remember I told you that for the lower part, you're going to multiply the new measurement you have at the waist by either 3, 2.5, 2, whatever you want. So this is my waistband. And I'm gonna join this my waistband at the sides. Okay, so this is the top, and I'm gonna join it at the sides. Right sides facing each other. All right, before I join my waistband, let's take in the darts. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I attached them at the sides and I also serged it. So now I'm going to attach the band. So this is my band. I put interfacing. This is the front. This is the 2 back. I'm gonna do that now. Now you're going to attach right sides facing each other, the waistband to the skirt, leaving out the seam allowance. Now I'm going to attach my zipper. If you don't know how to attach a zipper, just watch the video that I have done showing you how to do this. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I attached the waistband and the zipper. This is what it looks like, right? And I also top stitch to keep it down. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach the bottom. Now this is the bottom. I went ahead and I made some gathers. See? I made my gathers, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start to attach them at the bottom part of this dress. Okay, so soulmates, I went and I attached the down part of this dress. Now I'm going to finish the hem. So I just serged the end of it and I'm going to finish the hem now, and I'll show you what it looks like.